Penis. Penis. Dick cheese. The dick. The dick is erect. That's how much is delayed. Dick cheese. Penis. Okay, there you go. Okay. Xavier Spade came out with a deck, and finally you bought a brick. Yeah, he came out with his cards. He's been messaging me in the back. I was talking to him about it earlier. Let me tell you, man. Yeah, I know that it's a fun thing to come out with a deck of cards and then to think, hey, you know what? I'm gonna come out with my own deck of cards. Said Piggy, circa 2018 or 2017, and instead I've dealt with nothing but delays. Um, Mostly my fault. Some out of my hands, as is the current situation. It's out of my hands as to why it's currently delayed. But yeah, I know. And the worst part is that there's demand. There's a demand in the virginity for my deck of cards. It's not just, oh, hey, Piggy, you're going to come out with the deck, you're going to produce it. And the likelihood is that it's not going to fund or that you're not going to be able to maybe, if you do a pre sale, you're not going to be able to, make enough to print the decks. No, there's definitely a demand there. It's just a matter of fucking doing it. So that's my problem is being a little bit shitty. I broke my hand while trying to do clip. I should not be looking at the chat here. I should be looking at the chat here, like a rational individual. So let me do this. I just decided, you know what? Let's do a little bit of a Saturday live stream. Doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Might as well record this and then put it out on the channel, right? Might as well record this and put it out on the channel. Surprisingly, I'm not hungover on a Saturday morning, as I was a good boy yesterday. Usually, I'm when it comes to Saturday mornings, I've been waking up just in a facade, not understanding the world around me. But today, I actually woke up fairly unhungover, I guess, if that's a term. I think Saturday and Sundays are usually my bad days, just in a sense of doing stuff the night before. But clip shift, yeah, it's a terrible move. Clip shift is a terrible move. I don't understand why you have a lot of these like the virginities that they want to learn these new different things. I get that there's a demand for I guess hard sleight of hand magic, but there's also you don't need it. There's no necessity for it. You're just doing it to do this. You're just I don't know if you could see what I'm doing under, but I'm miming masturbating because that's what you're doing with playing cards. Switch to weed, no hangover. What are the long term? Because I was we're trying to talk the other day about like cigars and shit, and for example, cigars. Technically, you could get mouth cancer from cigars. You're not going to get lung cancer because it doesn't go to your lungs, and it also is hard to get mouth cancer because it's not in your mouth enough for you to develop whatever necessity to get mouth cancer. But you still have potential to get mouth cancer, right? Cigarettes, obviously, you get lung cancer because you're inhaling God knows what filter whatever doesn't get filtered, you're essentially inhaling that. But weed is also being inhaled, right? Is it that it's not in there long enough? How does that not lead to anything with lungs? That's the part that I'm curious about. Obviously, there's the benefits that everybody touts. We have the number one weed connoisseur, Daniel, here. But when it comes to that, I thought that would affect your lungs as well. No, is my medical knowledge that retarded? What's your favorite control? Mahatma control. I think I've mentioned this many times. It's a very simple one, underrated. For some reason, magicians tend to gravitate towards the ones that are difficult and unnecessarily hard. Mahatma control, right? Look at that card, top. That's it. All you're doing is shuffling it to the top of the deck. That's it. No need to complicate life. But people tend to want to do clip shifts and weird passes and unnecessary shit. Keep your virginity when it comes to controls down to a minimum. Focus on the effect and why it is that you want to control the card to begin with. All right, unless you want to impress your magician buddies, of which case, why impress magician buddies? But yeah, for some reason, I remember there was a like a trend to that a couple years ago. I don't know if it's still going on. I guess it's not because maybe it's because I haven't really kept up with what's being released in the magic community. Maybe I haven't really kept up with what's been on the market apart from just things here or there. I know Penguin Magic sending me some cards, which it's playing cards. I'd be more excited if they sent me like tricks and little things here or there as opposed to playing cards. But I guess that the audience that I'm attempting to cater to is a fan of that. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But there was like a trend for a little while there of just having unnecessarily difficult and challenging controls just for the sake of it. But why? What's the purpose of it? Yesterday, I was doing of Sleights and Men, which is a podcast. We're doing a little bit of. They had me on their show, and we're mentioning that because at some point we got deep into virginity, and that was one of the things that we mentioned was, or I talked about, which is the necessity to focus on the effect as opposed to the method, which magicians seem to be obsessed with for some reason. Bow to stern. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I think it sounds good, right? I was playing around with the audio before this, and I think it sounds somewhat decent. I know it looks decent, right? Because I'm using a ridiculous lens on this. So at least it should look decent. I should put like a light here, somewhere around here. I should put a light because then that would look good out of focus. Let me see how it sounds. Why am I up so early? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Why the fuck wouldn't I be up? There you go. Wow, that's delayed. Oh no, never mind. Okay, that's because I'm an idiot. But yeah, 10 o'clock is late, Daniel. I don't know in what world you happen to live in, the world of a weed connoisseur. By the way, you haven't smoked weed and or done edibles, I imagine, in front of me in quite a bit of time. So I've dealt with sober Daniel, which lets me know that you're just you. You're just you. I'm actually kind of also upset that you haven't posted that video that I spent so much time making yesterday for you yet. So that's kind of upsetting considering you decide to come here, impede on my time, and make me do a video for you for a box of all things, a box. So yeah, so that's that one. It's a character, bro. It's a character, bro. You know, sometimes I feel like maybe that character uh, spans into your real life. Your character, maybe it's that you're method acting so hard that that character actually boils into your actual real life. Early Virgin gets the magic trick. You know, I don't think anybody. Maybe speaking of Daniel, I think maybe you are the person that probably gets the tricks more often, and which is not often at all. Anytime I'm maybe writing something up. Hey, let me show you this. How does that look? Cool, good, right? But nobody ever sees my tricks. Nobody that's within my circle of people that I know ever sees me do magic tricks, and that's on purpose. That's purposely done because I don't want to be that guy that's like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. You become that person. All right. It's like the guy that doesn't shower. You become the person that doesn't shower, and then people don't want to hang out with you. They're not going to tell you to your face that you stink, but that's why they're not hanging out with you because you're the guy that percolates in the car with your scent, and you don't want to do that. So nobody's ever seen me necessarily, or nobody's seen me do tricks often, if at all, within my close circle of friends, and that's purposefully done. Virginity moment. Virginity moment is just being here, just being here and being just I guess deciding to set up a stream at Saturday in the morning, and then even sitting down and watching this. We're all just in a conglomerate of circles. So I did that podcast yesterday of Sleights and Men. I'll probably leave it in the description below once I'm uploading this particular stream to my channel. But it was interesting. It was definitely interesting, and I don't often get to talk to I guess the people that I talk to about that are I've met through magic, I don't talk about magic with them. Like Xavier Turner, I don't talk to them about magic. I talk to them about stuff, you know, like obnoxious things that are going on. So it's kind of odd to talk to people that I only know because of magic or that reached out to me because of magic. So it's kind of an odd thing. I have to get used to that, but I do enjoy that. Now, my goal is not to, my goal is to be on the feminist podcast. That's what I want. I want to be in there. All right. I want to be talking about magic feminism and the oppression of the female demographic by us dirty, disgusting, privileged, cis white magicians. Technically, I'm not cis white, but you know what? To them, I am. So I want to be on that podcast. I feel like that one is going to be a definite can of worms. What's the name of your intro song? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know it's just some piano bits, some free use piano shit that YouTube's not gonna punch me over. I've gotten, I mean, they've slowed down recently, but every intro that I used, that song from Evangelion, I got hit on. Apart from the more recent ones, that's like kind of like a retro remix. I guess that was enough to skew YouTube into not actually ass blasting my channel. But all the other ones that I did before, that was more, I guess, more refined instances of using that song. I got ass blasted. I got ass blasted by it. So thank you, YouTube. I appreciate it. Ooh, Magic Bros. Well, considering that you wanted ham radio to be essentially a conversation about cards, there are actual podcasts about dedicated to playing cards. Can anybody that listens to those, if anybody that's here currently right now, of which right now I'm getting ham radio numbers, if anybody listens to a card podcast, why? What do they discuss? Like different cards that are coming out, different things that are going out. Like, oh, look at this artist decide to go. Do they actually generally go into detail? I don't know. I don't know. Same thing with Magic Podcasts. I'm not sure as to why somebody would listen to a podcast dedicated entirely. Then again, same thing. Why would you listen to two guys bicker and complain to each other for 2 hours, right? So that's my aesthetic as well. But why would you sit down and listen to it? I mean, after maybe two or three, it kind of should get boring. Maybe I feel when I just talking about cards or even Magic per se, because if you're doing a Magic podcast consistently, unless it's specific to one thing, or maybe you're going through a certain, oh, the history of Magic podcast, for example, or some shit like that, I can't imagine it going to be exciting for very long. That might just be me and my infinite hatred of magicians. Chris, what's up, dog? Looking like a snack today on this Saturday morning. You are my favorite virgin rights activist. Yeah, when everybody was complaining, and dropping, dropping down, taking knees. I was standing up, and people thought I was taking a knee because of the height, right? But I was actually pursuing virgin rights. I was out there protesting for virgin rights. Our lives matter too, okay? Our virgin lives matter as well. I did one thing that I do hate, which is a movement that I want. I want to buy the merchandise because of how tremendous it is, and it's make 4 inches great again. I saw it all over Instagram. I saw it all over TikTok, and it's tremendous. And I hate that I didn't think of that to begin with, because I have a shirt, obviously, that I wear on occasion that says "short but my dick tall." I sell it, as a matter of fact, because I believe in it. Right, short. I'm short but my dick's tall. But these guys decided to make a shirt that I guess would appeal to a mass public, and merchandise regarding making 4 inches big again. And you know what? 4 inches should be big. 4 inches is quite substantial. So that is something that I want to purchase. But I hate that I didn't think of it first. That's kind of why I mentioned it. I hate that I didn't think about it first. So these guys are activists trying to make 4 inches popular again. I imagine that it's also culturally defined, right? So 4 inches in Asia is probably the equivalent of a mandingo. Maybe if you're an Asian, you could probably let me know there. Man, you are privileged because you are a magician. You are in the bottom of the food pyramid. It's like that movie that was on Netflix not so long ago. I think it was called The Cube or something like that. That was, you're in a prison, but you're in a vertical prison with like grading between each level. And the top person gets a lot of food. And then the next person only gets the leftovers of that person, and subsequently so on, depending on your crime. I think that was a movie that was on Netflix, which is a good, interesting concept, but I can't imagine it being enjoyable for more than, I don't know, 13 minutes. 13 minutes when you look at the concept and you're like, oh, that's a cool concept. Now what? It was called The Cube, but it was about that sort of thing, which is odd. But yeah, technically we would be on the bottom, so we'd be getting the scraps. We're not privileged. We're getting the scraps of the scraps of the scraps of the scraps, and that's even if we decide to get any scraps, if any of the upper layers. So magicians have it rough, man. We have it rough, but it's self-imposed, so there's no sympathy there. The fact that you're on forums complaining about hecklers, you deserve them. You deserve people to question everything you do and to say, hey, I saw you lift two cards there, buddy. All right, I saw you. Don't think that you're getting away with it. Let's see what else we got here. Wow. Wow, tremendous activity going on here. I decided to stream at the wrong time here. I said, you know what? I'm going to wake up on a Saturday. I'm going to do a little bit of a hot live stream. I haven't done live streams in a bit. I haven't done these, if you haven't noticed, in quite a bit of time. I did one yesterday just because I wanted to test out the internet, of which case has been great so far. Maybe I jinxed it, but I haven't done one of these in a bit because I hate doing the phone. I put the phone, I do it, it doesn't look good, and then I don't like that. I want this quality, right? So now I got the equipment to do this quality, which is quite substantial. Hey, it's me again. I will try and save this. Yeah, please try. Please try. Give me a topic. I feel like one of those comedians that are training. Like they go to those terrible comedy schools where they say, "Hey, we're gonna get whose line is it anyways?" Like those things. The improvisational comedy people that I absolutely fucking can't stand. Of which Daniel has the fucking humor of. If you're here, you have that type of humor of those improvisational comedians where, oh, hey, give me a topic and we're gonna make a whole routine with it, and they always do the same thing. You go, oh, I don't know, Cheesecake Factory. Okay, great. Give me something that I'm doing. I don't know, filing your taxes. Oh, I'm filing my taxes at the Cheesecake Factory. And then you have what's worse than the people that do that are the people that attend those shows. I think those are the people that are worse. Just like the people that watch magic, you're worse than the magician. Because whereas the magician, he actively decided to dedicate his life to practicing and honing his craft, you're watching him do that. He shouldn't have an audience, just like those people shouldn't have a fucking audience because they're terrible. They're terrible individuals and they should be ass blasted at every single opportunity. I'm taking my morning shit. Great. If you could make anything the definition of cringe, what would it be? Oh boy. Well, this is something I was discussing on a podcast that I was on yesterday of Slights and Men, just to shill that. We're talking about the cringiness of magicians and how I like magic. Unfortunately, I do have to admit that I do love magic, but I hate magicians. And the reason for that is just their behavior. Their general behavior is that they think that they're better than anybody else, and they have an understanding of the world around them because of their understanding of magic. Whereas they don't understand that their only understanding is really to magic and not really much else. So it's within the confines of magic that you have this understanding. Anything else is pretty much just happenstance and not a lot really. So when it comes to your understanding here, it's you assume that you have more of an understanding that you have, and therefore it inflates your ego. So that's my issue with a lot of magicians, and they're kind of shite bags, and they're also they're fucking ego. You see them online and they post stuff, right? And then you see them in person, and they're fucking mice. They're oh hey man, dude, that's cool, man. Sorry, it's all a game. I posted online, it's a game, dude. No, but in real life, you see them. And then, no, man, no, hey, man, it's just a joke, man. It's just a joke. But you were posting really aggressive stuff online, and now in person you're a mouse. What is that? What is that? And this coming from this guy who's almost the same height as a microphone stand. Preach. Top five magic books to be PigCake is the definition of cringe. Yeah, I guess the sum. I guess the my 2016 classic card trick, known as the Black Lives Matter card trick, is cringe to some people. As is another famous 2017 PigCake classic in the oil and gaze card trick. That's another one. Or how about the December monstrosity? That is the cannibal Holocaust card trick. Those are wonderful videos that I posted well before their time. Look at this. I was doing BLM before BLM was super popular. All right. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it, huh? I'm a trendsetter. Top five magic books. Top five, I would say Art of Astonishment, right? The series. I've said this before, by the way. I should just have. I had an FAQ before on the bottom of these descriptions as to the questions that I typically have gotten, and I realized I should update that. So, Art of Astonishment is definitely one. Magic for Dummies is definitely another one that I think everybody should get. Super underrated. Expert Card Technique is one that's quite substantial. There's a book that I just read that I can't mention the name of, that I can't mention who I got it from, and no, it's not who you think. And that one is pretty good. Pretty good, I gotta say. It's a book on mentalism. I hate it. I hate it because of all the good ideas in there. But that's one, I guess, you could consider there, but it doesn't count as a list. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what else really. Let me try to think as to what really stands out. Those are really the three that come to mind. Is it bad that I can't come up with five? Is my virginity low today? I think my virginity is too low today that I can't even come up with five books. Um, Maybe some of the Art of Mentalism by Bob Cassidy is good, right? That one's kind of dope. Oh boy, that's about it. That's all I got there, man. Kind of a shame, my virginity usually it's higher enough to come up with all these other books, but that's it. That's all I got. I think it's the morning. My virginity probably expands throughout the day, and because it's 10 o'clock in the morning, it's not as substantial as it usually is. Mm. If someone were to draw fan art of you, what would you want to be doing in it? Um, I'm not sure. It would probably be me with my hands on my head, like this, just looking miserable at a magician performing a card trick. Just like, please stop. Or a magician with like cleaning his chop cup on the inside of a pizza place. Just cleaning his chop cup. One day, I feel like I've mentioned that dude from that convention so many times that he's gonna find me and be like, "Dude, I know you've been talking about me and cleaning my chop cup in a pizza store and wearing suspenders with card printed on them. I know you've been talking shit about me." And he's gonna get huge and he's gonna like just punch me once and I'm gonna get a brain hemorrhage. So I feel like I need to stop talking about that guy, especially because of the fact that when we saw him in Magi Fest, this guy's arms were kind of like big, like he was holding a suitcase. I imagine it's from the weight of his magic props, not from working out. But he was kind of a big dude, like kind of like a got big arms, holding his magic props, going to the pizza shop, cleaning his chop cup in front of everyone, just staring people down as he's cleaning his chop cup. Weird. So that guy, I feel like, is gonna make, I don't know, some sort of revenge on me at some point. Let's see. Number five is a big number. Marlo or Vernon? Well, I know. I'm always mentioning about Vernon, right? Is this? Look at that. Oh, okay. I'm always mentioning about Vernon being a terrible father, right? I'm always mentioning us to oh, I'm on the way. Yeah, great. No, wait, the focus is too bad. Most mentioning on how Di Vernon was a terrible father and how he shouldn't be um, I guess, revered as people do, right? As him as an individual. But as a person that's come up with a lot of stuff for Magic, yeah, he's pretty much second to none. Ed Marlowe's tremendous. I don't know anything about him. I know that him and his wife, right, were tremendously close, and he was, I guess, close to his family. So he wasn't necessarily the type of individual like Vernon to go out for months at a time looking for sleight of hand. I would imagine Vernon obviously had a more interesting life in that capacity, but still, I would say, come on, you got kids, all right? Don't be a terrible individual and ditch your kids for card tricks. You fuck. So that's so Marlo. Marlo. I would say more of a fan of for Vernon just in that capacity. And I have gotten comments recently. I did mention this, I think, in I don't know where I mentioned this. Maybe it might have been the last one that people left some comments obnoxiously defending Vernon because they knew Vernon. I'm like, okay, all right, good. You only knew Vernon that way. You knew him based on his stuff. You didn't know of the fact that he was ditching his family to be drinking with you, which is kind of a terrible thing. What is something that most people think it's normal but strikes you as odd? Waiting in line is kind of an odd concept to me, right? Because people do it unconsciously without thought of it, I guess, is the most effective way of queuing up for a particular thing. But it's an odd thing to look at, right? Because if you play your cards right, pun intended, if you play your cards right, you can make people wait in a line for absolutely anything by just having a line to begin with. So it's like the rule of the line that if you just have a line, people are going to wait in it just by virtue of it being a line, even though it could be technically for nothing. So if you have a line, I would say about, 6 or 7 people waiting for someone or waiting for something looking pretty, you're eventually going to get people that are going to start waiting in the line just because. So it's a weird quirk that we have. I would say a retardation in our, I don't know, in our fucking code that we just decide to see something and we follow what everybody else is doing, not to stand out. Not to get too virginy, but I think Arthur Ashe, if that's his name, Solomon Ashe, maybe, did those conformity studies back in the early whatevers, where you would have two lines presented, and this was tremendous because it's indicative of how we act as humans, that we care so much about what other people think of us, that it would be one really short line and one really long line, and the only person that was in on it was or sorry, the group was in on it and one person was not in on it, and every member of the group, when asked what the big line was, they would say it's the short one. And what they found is that the short person, the person that's or the person that's in the group that's not part of it, he would conform to the audience. He would conform to the rest of the group because he didn't want to stand out. And this happened constantly. I think Candid Camera, to date myself, had that bit where you would walk into the elevator and you would turn around, right? So you would walk into an elevator and you pretty much see five people turned around. You have one person that's unsuspecting walk inside and they turn around for no fucking reason just to not stand out in a group because we're terrified of standing out. So that's I love those. I love looking at those different studies. So I think it was the Ash one, which is a conformity one, and we should do more like that. We should do shit like that more often. I think that that would be an interesting thing for a YouTube video. How would you do that with magic, though? I feel, right? I don't think there's any cool way to do it. I don't think there'd be any cool way to do that within the confines of card stuff. Herd mentality, NPC. Yeah, you know what? In 2021, you can call it NPC behavior, essentially. That you just walk in and you're, oh shit, okay. I guess here's the line where I'm supposed to stand. And then now, because of COVID, and you're supposed to stand, 6 feet behind the next person, lines are calamity. There's a calamity when it comes to lines now because you don't know where lines begin and lines end because of the distance that you have between each person. So you have one person standing, all the way across the store. They're technically in the line, which is now absurdist because you don't know where it begins. So you might be technically skipping someone, as I was when I went to a store nearby. But that's just because I think it was because of BLM that she skipped me. Let's say people in Florida are addicted to lines. People in South Florida are addicted to lines. People in Northern Florida are addicted to meth. Meth. There's a difference. South Florida, cocaine. North Florida, meth and fentanyl and redneck drugs. Whereas down here, we're essentially addicted to I think Coke and pills is the big ones down here. Coke, pills, and weed, obviously, but I think mostly Coke and pills, like party drugs and Coke, essentially. So uppers is what's the majority of the drugs down here. Not that I've done any of those, which are disgusting drugs. My only drug of choice is competition. No, it's alcohol. Alcohol is bad enough, right? Yeah, that one's I think the worst drug of all. People in the North Florida are addicted to squares and triangles. What the fuck does that even mean? God fucking damn it. Sup, Piggy? How are you? How are you, Croca? I saw that study. Epic stuff. It's great. It's also great to see the modern retakes of that and show that it works in every single capacity. It's not dependent on time period. It's something that works at any point in time that people conform just because they're afraid of standing out and they don't want to seem that it's wrong. I remember one time in second grade, this was quite the fucking event here, but this is when I started hating my family member. In second grade, the teacher asked a question, right? And they said, "Oh, if you think that this is the capital of this country, stand up." And everybody stood up, right? So everybody's there standing up. And then, okay, all right, guys, sit down. If you think that this is the capital of this country, stand up. And it was only my family member that stood up. And she goes, everybody, give him a round of applause because he's right. And I'm here sitting down like, you fucking piece of shit. You probably took a guess. You probably forgot to stand up the first time, so you're probably standing up now. So it was that sort of bit, which is why I'm going to come and essentially take out self-defense, blast my family. Little incidents like that that have rolled along throughout the years. I love the way it smells. I hate Coke, but I love the way it smells. Are you talking about Coca-Cola or Coke? I don't know how Coke smells, per se. I don't know if Coke had a scent. I'm sure you Cokies could probably tell me if Coke has a scent. But God damn it. I just read, is your mic a cholo? God damn it, Stefan. You can't be funnier than me. Okay? You can't be funnier than me. God fucking damn it. It's the funniest shit. Is my mic a cholo? This is my ghetto pop filter. Okay, this is my ghetto pop filter. But yes, it's a cholo for the gay gang, if you want to call it that. This is the it's repping. I guess the other word would probably be better, but I can't say that because I'm not one of them. But this a gay gang, right? You could F gang. You could kind of take your. But yeah, it's repping. It's repping the gay gang here, which is kind of funny. Which is what I like. But yeah, fuck. Alcohol's a drug. It's a solution. Yeah, it's definitely a solution. Short term. It's definitely a solution short term. If you decide, it's like Fallout. You drink liquor in Fallout, and then you get a strength boost, and then if you keep drinking it, you get addicted to it, and it fucks you up. So it's funny that it's reflected in that game. So yeah, it's like a temporary power up, but if you keep consuming it, that's where it has its downsides on you. It makes you invincible for 27 minutes. That's how fads spread. It's actually been observed that orangutans also do what others do. One orangutan put lettuce in their hand, and soon all of them were in a natural preserve. That'd be great, right? You hand, um, but how would you do that to a crowd? You would just awkwardly hand people, right? They would have to see you as the authority figure for that to work somehow. So maybe if you're like the park, if you have like a uniform for the park, for example, let's say like a Disney park or a theme park, you have the uniform for the park and you go, hey, you have to hold this. And you give them a piece of lettuce, right? Oh, if you're going to be in this section, you have to hold this piece of lettuce and see how many people go, okay. And then grab the lettuce and just walk around with a fucking piece of lettuce. That'd be a great fucking experiment, right? That'd be pretty tremendous. But you would have to, I guess, get the permission. If not, you could just do it quickly, shoot 10 minutes and then, get your equipment and leave. But that'd be a great thing to do. Oh, in order to get to this, you have to hold this piece of lettuce. You have a shirt that says security on it. I'm sure you're going to get one asshole Karen that's going to say, I'm not going to hold a piece of lettuce just because, not out of, not to conform, but just to be a contrarian bitch. You're going to have that one lady that's going to say, no, I'm not going to hold on to this piece of lettuce. I refuse. I'm allergic to lettuce. What, is this some sort of oppression, huh? They're going to make a point of it and not do it that way. But that'd be a great social experiment. Why do you always look mad in your thumbnails? That's because I'm always mad. I'm always mad. I'm always angry, upset at something. I'm an easily agitated individual. Anything sets me off. If you cut me off in traffic, I'm agitated. If you say, I don't know, mostly traffic, I was going to go through all the traffic related incidents that I hate. If you turn without a signal, I get agitated. If you fucking brake too hard, I get agitated. If you're too close to the car in front of you that I'm nowhere near, I get agitated. I get agitated very easily. But in general, people will do it if others are. They need to be part of the group. Is bigger to be an individual. It's also harder to be an individual. Thank you, Danny. By the way, I've been following your stuff as I left a little comment on your video yesterday, Danny, doing some hot Art of Astonishment performance videos. Every time I see them, I click and I'm like, yes, that's fucking hot because nobody else is doing that. And those tricks haven't been visualized. Essentially, it's just brain farts from Paul Harris and his many adventures. So it's great to see you working on those. But yeah, you're absolutely right. People don't want to stand out. The common trope is that people, or Jerry Seinfeld and his joke is that because people are afraid of public speaking or standing out, they are more comfortable to be the person that's dead in the funeral than the person giving the eulogy, which is quite a fun quirk. Also, during World War I, there was this one guy who would file flypaper reports. Literally, how many flies died on flypaper in his office. The higher up started getting mad at his coworkers for not filing it. Jesus fucking Christ. It looks like it's about to rob a gay nightclub. Or rob gay nightclubs. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I guess. That's kind of the aesthetic. It's, but at this point, it's not, it's more like a do-rag, right? It's not like they're not repping it. How do you rep a flag? You put it in your pocket, right? Is that how you rep a flag? You put the bandana of whatever color in your pocket, I guess. I don't know if I'm not popular with that culture. You know what I'm saying? I'm not popular with the hip hop, so I don't know. Also, my only knowledge of calling it what do you call this flag is from watching Gangland, a show on the History Channel where they talk about that sort of shit. So I know a little bit of the lingo, right? I know a little bit of the gangster lingo. I don't want you to think that I'm some sort of a crazy gangster or anything like that. But I know what this is called, right? I know. So I think that might be the whitest shit I've ever said. Do you feel like a superstar when you're blatantly flirting with his girl in front of him? But it's okay because of magic. No, no. I think it's the opposite because it's like you're being cucked essentially, right? You, the magician, because yeah, you're impressing her with your card trick, but you're just warming up the oven. Actually, no, you're drying the oven. So you're drying up the oven. You're making her drier than the desert, so that anything to her becomes more attractive by comparison to the magic or the magician. So if you show her a card trick, yeah, she's going to be astonished. Oh my God, you found my card, but she's dry, right? So then anything becomes attracted to her. So her boyfriend could be like, hey, yo, baby, I'm going to go take a shit. And she's like, oh my God, so hot. So hot. Just because of the comparison to the magic trick. So you're doing the exact opposite. If anything, you are getting her primed and ready to be blasted by her boyfriend because of the trick. So it's doing the adverse effect of that, I would say, in my infinite wisdom. His mic is an anime girl with double ponytails. Change my mind. Why do you got to ruin stuff? Now you ruined it. Now you definitely ruined it, right? It's like Tesla recently made a feature that you could change the horn to an MP3, and people are changing it to like the ooh, ooh or like anime noises, like and shit, like a bunch of fucking weebs. Essentially, we don't deserve. We deserve COVID. Like we deserve every bad thing that's come to us as humans. We deserve it. If you ever think, oh no, I don't deserve this, yes you do. Yes you do. By being part of a group of I would say animals that have contributed things like that to the earth, you deserve COVID. All right, that's all I'm saying. Guiding Gabbers, how do you deal with that one person in the audience who always wants to examine the cards during the performance? Well, that's a different scenario. Depends on context, right? I would say, why would they need to examine the cards more than once in a performance, right? Give them a task to do. That's the common trope. So if somebody's doing that, use them. Hey, do me a favor. Could you just hold the box like this? And then that's a fun thing to do with like somebody that you consider a heckler, right? You go, oh, hey, perfect. You'd be perfect for this. Come here, do me a favor. Could you hold the box like this? Yeah, hold the box, but it has to be still like that. Okay. And then you have them hold the box like this throughout the entirety of the performance. And then at the end, when you're done doing the trick, and then they go, hey, the box. And you go, oh, yeah, thank you. You put the cards away. And then you leave. That's fun, right? That's a good way to do this on them. You're doing this to the nipples with that. I think that's a fun way. Paul Harris performs drier than a Popeye biscuit doing stand up. I picture like a little Popeye biscuit looking wet as fuck. I think I've only been to Popeyes 3 times, and every single time I've gotten a wet biscuit, like a greasy, oily, wet biscuit. So I just imagine this wet biscuit with arms doing a stand-up set about about being black. I don't know. So that is a good bit, right? You have them do something that's like trivial, like, oh, here, okay. Or do something annoying, like in a very difficult position. Like holding cards like this is very annoying. Holding cards like this is even more annoying. You know, imagine doing this for a minute, holding a deck of cards like this. So at the end, when you're done, just take the cards back, put it in a box. And if you want, kick them in the dick. Kick them right in the fucking dick just for ruining your trick. There's a class experiment in which the whole class except one person are in on it. They start to answer questions, and every time they're more wrong, the poor bastard that's experimenting just agrees. Yeah. Again, not to stand out for that fear of being that one individual that's like, oh, you're the one that's different. Okay. But then there's also a threshold to that because if you're the one that's too different, then you're just trying to be an asshole. Like you're the guy that's wearing the fedora. Unless you're Stefan. If you're Stefan, you could wear whatever you want and get away with it just by virtue of being an attractive man. But most people can't pull it off. All right. Very few people can pull it off. As a matter of fact, I would say 0.1% of the population can pull it off. Paul Harris sadly has no performance videos. They are exhibits in court. Yeah, yeah, they're considered evidence. They're considered evidence, and you can't show them. He has that one project, Art of Astonishment, that he did years ago. I think it was like in '96, which was a great video. It got shit reviews, by the way, but it was a great video. Uh, and then he has the close-up series, right? That he does the close-up fantasies. I think that was a series that he did of videos that are shit quality now. If you find them anywhere, even rips of them. But yeah, they're still studio performances, right? They're these studio performances, so it's not really anything indicative. But that's what I was kind of pissed off about when the True Astonishments box came out, and I was so hyped. I think it was 2008 that box came out, and it was like a rehash of all his great stuff from Art of Astonishment, Close Up Seduction, Close Up whatever. Whatever his fucking shit was, I forgot what it was, and it was mostly Bro Gilbert performing. It was all Bro Gilbert performing. Or like he only had these little clips that he had at the end of it. I don't know if he was so high that he couldn't do the performances, but I would love to see that. I would have loved to see that shit. Let me see this one here. I know that I read some oh, Stefan. Then you're gonna be the wrong Popeyes. If that thing isn't the angel of death, then we're they're doing it wrong. I think the last time we went to Popeyes, I was with Daniel, as a matter of fact, and there was a guy sitting on I think a Bentley in the parking lot. And I hate to admit that he was funny for anything. That Daniel said something funny, but he goes, "I don't like the way this looks. Let's go." Like a dude sitting on his Bentley, like in a parking lot of Popeyes. Obviously, a man of color, right? He goes, "I don't like the way this looks." He fucking turned the car around and he left, and we didn't go to Popeyes that day because he didn't like the way a guy sitting on his Bentley. Oh, that shit was great. Oh fuck. Oh my god. Swinger party. That video that he is in a swinger sex party performing magic is great, and that's no joke. What video is that? What video is that where he's doing sex swing magic tricks? It's only old white people that get sex swings typically. That's the worst part, right? Like people that look like Penn Jillette get sex swings. It's never like hot people from like that you would assume. Oh, look at the guys from 50 Shades of Grey and his hot broad. They have a sex swing. Yeah, okay. They never look like that. They always look like fucking old skinny swingers, essentially. Let's see this one. What is the best intellectual insult you have ever heard or said or heard? Well, on TikTok, you always see these guys roasting, different people, and the one on chromosomes is the best. Ugh. So somebody said something, and then they responded, "I bet." How many chromosomes do you have? That was their response, and the person goes, "More than you." Again, you more chromosomes. That's the So they own themselves technically, I guess. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I guess the what's the classic Winston Churchill one that some woman said that he's a drunk, and I think this is misconstrued in history. I'm not sure if he actually said this. There's some debate as to whether he did, but he's like, "Oh, you're drunk," and then he goes, "Ma'am, I might be drunk, but when I wake up, I'm gonna be sober, and you're still gonna be fat." He said something to that effect, and that was just a fucking a Roman Reigns Superman punch to the temple. So let's see what else here. He's selling chicken sandwiches out of his Bentley truck. Yeah, I don't think he was selling uh, chicken sandwiches. I think he was selling something else out of his Bentley truck. I don't know if that's a thing. That'd be the most ghetto shit. I saw like a long Prius the other day, like a really long. It looked like a limo, but it was like a Prius. That's kind of ghetto. Like imagine like a really long 1997 Chevy Impala. Like that'd be fucking thuggin'. That'd be absolutely thuggin'. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I am saying? Penn has no sex swing. That is loose skin he's hanging from. At this point, yeah, he has that kind of like turkey effect. I remember teachers in my elementary school used to have it because I feel like they've gained weight and then lost weight and then gained weight. So they have like this little residual skin over here that looks like a turkey flopper. Magic Orthodoxy, what's up? You said, "Hey, Danny." I'm sure, in reference to Danny Marco in the chat here. What makes magic special compared to other performance arts and entertainment? I hate art, like the concept of literal art where you're fucking painting and doing all this stuff. I hate that. I get there's a talent to it, but especially here, it's very pretentious. In South Florida, it's the most obnoxious thing you've ever seen in your entire life. We went to a show a couple months ago, I guess pre-COVID, and maybe a year ago, and there was this guy that does this swing paint, right? So this guy that he has paint on a pendulum, right? And then on the pendulum he has I guess a stopper on the paint can that he has, and he removes the paint stopper, and then he just swings it, and then the thing goes back and forth, right? And then he's spinning like a lazy Susan as he's doing this shit, and he's talking about how it lets him meditate when he does this stuff. So I meditate, and this allows me to just forget about all my problems and forget about everything that's going on in this disgusting, disgusting world. And there are girls behind me that are like, "Oh my god, he's so cute. Oh my god, so deep. Oh god, he's so cute." And he's just literally pulling a stopper on a fucking on a thing, and then paint is just so he's doing nothing. He's spinning the thing, and the paint is just doing the work essentially. But then he does that, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, oh my god, yeah, yeah, yeah." So I hate any sort of art that involves that pretentious, obnoxious bullshit. Which down here, everybody's an artist. Everybody has an art studio. Everybody's doing that same bullshit, and it's gross. It's disgusting. There's no talent. Oh, the picture of the tank represents all the unnecessary wars we've been into. That's so deep. Oh my god, I never thought of that. I never thought how the tank itself could represent war. Whoa, that's crazy. I remember I took an art appreciation class in college, and at the end you're gonna do an art project. You have to do an art project. I think I mentioned this before, but you have to do like a thing, and then they pretend to have a gala, right? So the teacher had like little like pretend wine and cookies, and you would go around the class and you do this pretend gala. What I did, because I'm a creative individual, is that I got honey and drew an ant on a piece of cardboard and put that outside. So all the ants would stick to the honey, and then I had a picture of an ant made from ants, essentially. So from afar, it looks gross, it looks nasty, but when you get close up and I'm there explaining, oh yeah, it's a ant picture made of ants, and people found it very interesting. I think I don't want to say that I had the most people, but definitely people stopped on my little thing the most. And then the rest of the people in the class, they had like pictures of tanks on a poster board, and they had, I don't know, pictures of guns, and they were trying to, oh, this represents wars, and this represents the fact that we've been in a lot of war. On this heart right here that's broken represents the fact that I've lost a loved one recently. It's like, oh, you're so deep, right? I hate that. Music involves talent. I would say some music, the ones that stands out, involves talent. So I'll give you that. But when it comes to magic, it's a skill that you represent in front of an individual. So as far as it being an art, it's definitely one that is the most interesting, I think, in the sense of you being able to show that skill. Yes, you could be pretentious. Yes, you could be an asshole, but at the same time, it's just better. It's just fucking better than art. Art. It's better, I would say, not as good as music per se. On the spectrum, music would be on the best side, and then magic would be maybe towards the middle. And like painting and art and anything that involves putting something on a canvas or on a wall, it's on the other side, because that to me is both. Oh, it's an expression. Right? So to me, magic is just cool in the sense of just being able to perform it to people. So it's an art that you could show to someone anytime, anywhere. Even if you don't have cards on you, as terrible as it is to pull out a deck of cards and do something for someone, you don't have to necessarily rely on that to show somebody magic. You could just pick something up off the ground and show them even a small bit of an art that you couldn't otherwise do. So it's a very practical art in that sense that you could show it to anybody at any time. So that's, I think, the advantage of magic. Um, I bet that you have them do the triple gok gok 3000 after that painting. I'm sure that's fucking, god damn, that's good. Gok gok 3000. Chicken head. I went to a black middle school, and that's the term that I learned there. Chicken head. Ah, she got chicken head. Yeah, I think you gave him that chicken head, right? Mm-hmm. That's not a stereotype or exaggeration. That's how I heard it. That's how I literally heard it in the cafeteria of, of Carver of Carver Middle School. So, let's see, Piggy, where's your boy, Gentleman Wake? I'm not sure. He's been working, man. He's been working. He's been busy working, doing his other his main gig. Mm. I know he hasn't dedicated a lot of attention to his channel, but last time I talked to him, he was very busy doing a lot of back and forth. He's finally, because he's an editor, right? So he edits videos as a living, which is why he's so fucking good at it. And he hasn't really had time, I imagine, in my conversations with him to fully dedicate himself to working on videos as much as he wants to. But he's been busy, which is good. I mean, busy is money, but in the sense of your channel, it's also kind of suffering in that say. But I mean, he's good, just busy. After the ant controversy, Piggy decided to go disgusting as he cannot out of rebellion. 20 years later, he's good at card tricks. This wasn't 20 years ago. God fucking damn it. I'm trying to think when I was in college. If I was in college 20 years ago, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be somewhere contemplating life on the edge of a bridge. Um, Not to say that you should be doing that if you went to college more than 20 years ago, but me personally, Me personally, I'm young. I'm full of cum. Famously on the floor of the Parliament, Nancy Astor told Churchill, "Winston, if I was your wife, I'd poison your tea." Churchill retorted, "Nancy, if I were your husband, I'd drink it." Yeah, that's great. Fuck. Could you imagine being so hammered that you're so sharp, like being so hammered and sharp all the time? Jesus. Churchill was quite tremendous. With his gross cigar with a gnarly mouth, he didn't even smoke him. He just had him in his mouth, which is just gross. Uh, Music involved talent, but we make less than paint swing guy. How bad is that, right? Music is obviously something that requires talent, that requires knowledge, musicality and all this stuff. Art is just it's based on the person that's looking at it. So you could put a red strip on a fucking white canvas and go, see, this represents the fact that we're divided. We have a white canvas, the racist cis privilege white. Actually, it'd be better with a black piece of paint on it and go and right now the you could make a whole point of it and that could sell for $1 million to some pretentious prick that wants to hang it out in their house. Whereas music involves talent, it involves skill, it involves practice and dedication, and you're throwing change at a dude, but also at the same time, how many artists are there that aren't successful, right? So there's probably more artists that are not successful than the artists that are successful. It's just the ones that are successful have no talent. They have no talent. That's the worst part. This guy right here with the swing pin. Yeah, I travel all around the United States doing this. So you get to travel all around the United States swinging paint and having the paint for you, you fuck, and have hot dumb bitches stand behind me and tell each other how cute you are and how deep you are just because you're like, yeah, it helps me get away from all the problems in life. Bitch, I hate people. I fucking hate people. Is this the lecture? Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is my lecture that I've been working on. It's essentially a 30-minute rant on art. What kind of music do you appreciate? All types of music, really. I think that music is I don't want to say like magic per se, but all even if you're doing death metal, you still have to have an understanding and an appreciation of the notes and all the shit and theory per se in order to make it an actual viable song, unless it's just noise, right? So anything is good. Well, now what I listen to gay 80s shit. So whether that's literal gay 80s shit, like stuff that was made in the 80s, or stuff that's made to sound like it's from the 80s today. So that's what I listen to essentially. Let's look at the last songs that I put on my playlist. So this shows you my virginity. So let's go to my Spotify, which may or may not be hacked. And let's go on my library and let's look at liked songs to show you the gayness. Oh, this is rough. Yeah, the last song that I liked is called "Crying in Miami," and the song before that was "At the Beginning" from the Anastasia OST. So "At the Beginning" with Donna Summers and Carl Marks and Richard Marks. So that's the other song that I liked. The other one is "Tears May Fall" by TKA. That's a banger. If you listen to "Tears May Fall" by TKA, and I imagine you're doing it after like a drunk binger or maybe like a coke fest or whatnot. That might have been the whitest thing I've ever said. "Tears May Fall" by TKA is a tremendous song, especially that music video. Look at that music video where they're just like jiving, fucking doing their thing to that song. "Tears May Fall," tremendous. So look that up when you get a chance. Yeah, those are the songs that I liked. "Second Chance" by 38 Special, gay 80 stuff. That's essentially what I listen to. Good and bad. I realize that this isn't a long hallway behind you with a perfect standing there. It's a mirror. Yeah, it's a mirror. This is me right here. This isn't a trick that old ladies have when they come up with houses. I believe this one was built in 1948. So for some reason, it was a common aesthetic to build houses with mirrors and restaurants with mirrors to make it look like it's bigger. But really, it stops right there. It's not really that big. It just stops. So it's like, oh, somebody walks in, and for a fraction of a second, they go, "Hey, this is a bit." Oh, it's not. It's a mirror. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're broke. That's kind of the point of that. Is Jeff McBride gay, a virgin, or both? I like that your name is Finnegan McBride, right? and you're saying that, which is kind of interesting because I don't know if you're related. Maybe you are, right? What if you are Jeff McBride and you just questioning me as to what I say? My favorite thing that I've ever read about Jeff McBride is I've mentioned it in one of the previous live streams. It's somebody posted it on Reddit as to experiences that they had in conventions. And they said that they were scoping out the convention floor and they were looking just through the floor, looking at all the different tables and looking at all the people. And then at some point they stop because they look and Jeff McBride is making eye contact with them and gives him like a shit eating grin that let him know he's like, yeah, that's right. I'm Jeff McBride. Like that sort of look. That's the look that he gave him. And he goes, like that. That's the look like Jeff McBride gave him after this guy scanning through the audience. I wish I found the exact paragraph because the way that he wrote it was hysterical. But that's my favorite thing that I've ever read about him. But probably all of them. Probably all of them. Jeff McBride is probably all of those. Um, looks like the type to be like a swinger, like the swinging kind. Like the pendulette, like, oh yeah, I'll get fucked. It's not gay, like that sort of thing. Like, oh yeah, I'll be in an orgy, like a spiritual Burning Man orgy. That's the type of vibe I get from Jeff McBride. I love his tapes though, his old tapes in the '90s for the card manipulation, and then also he had a series with LNL Publishing where he went to Burning Man and he did tricks for the highest people I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know how they decided to just shoot him, like shoot the video and go, yeah, this is perfectly fine. I guess it doesn't matter. That if we sell this to an audience of kids that are going to ask their parents, Mom, why are their eyes so close together? Mom, why are their eyes red? Mom, why is that guy injecting himself? Like you look at the project and he's doing tricks for people that are demolished, like just rolling their faces. And he's making like fucking ribbons appear and then giving them ribbons. So he's showing his hands empty and make ribbons like appear. Or, hey, let me borrow $1 and make a ribbon appear out of $1, like a rainbow ribbon, all that stuff. That was a great project. Had some cool tricks there, to be honest. But most of the tricks he was performing for like a really fucked up audience, which is kind of funny to watch. Let's see. My first live stream, big fan. I'm sorry. I apologize that you decided to click on this, but I mean, welcome aboard. Your virginity points have been increased by 30%. Fantastic album. Somebody said about an album, meaning bad. The album, bad's a great one. Have you heard Kyra by the Midnight Remix? Yeah, I have. And what I hate is that there's a live. So the Midnight has a live concert that you can't enjoy because it's filmed from the audience's perspective. It's a really good camera, but it's filmed from the audience's perspective. And the microphone, I think, was closer to the audience than the stage. So all you hear are frat boys losing their minds over the saxophone guy. And it's the worst thing you've ever fucking heard in your life. The songs are beautiful, especially live, they're amazing, but it's ruined by the frat boys that are hammered on Bud Lights and White Claws, essentially screaming, going, yeah, fuck yeah, saxophone, yeah. Ruined, completely ruined. I feel like anything is ruined by by frat boys, like just these loser frat guys ruin absolutely everything. They even ruined intercourse with women that are sleeping. That's a joke. Okay. If you're gonna look up retro wave songs, look up Kyra from the Midnight and One Night by Time Cop. I actually haven't heard One Night. I haven't heard that one. He said, "I'm sorry." That's funny. So yeah, I haven't heard that one. So I might hear that while having my my. Look at this, by the way. This is what happens when you go to a Publix, and it's the day after Christmas. You get shit like this. Tell me this is not nightmare fuel. It's a fucking sloth wearing a hat. This was 50 cents. Take it slow this holiday. Somebody unironically bought this and said, oh, yeah, I love sloths. I'm going to buy that. I'm sure a homeless man spat in there, but I decided to buy that cup and fill it with a combination of Death Wish coffee and protein because that's what I've been doing. That's the life I've lived for the past couple months trying to lose weight. Jeff McBride is the kind of guy to marry a woman who lets him fuck other dudes. Well, look at that. Look up that project. That's a fun one. I forgot what it's called, but It's L&L Publishing. Jeff McBride does it, and he's performing at Burning Man. So if you look up Jeff McBride Burning Man Magic, you probably find it. You have some good tricks there. You have some really good tricks there, but just the presentation is a little bit iffy, a little bit iffy for my standard. Re 80s music. My favorite composer is Jim Steinman. Wrote most of Meatloaf's hits. I wrote gobs of paper on his work in college. I love Meatloaf because Meatloaf is that singer that he hasn't given it up, even though he should have. And I hate to admit it because I love Meatloaf, and all his songs are tremendous. Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, fucking Bad Out of Hell. I do anything for love. Um, the other one, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? What's that song that Celine Dion also sang? Do 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 do. Hold up, stop. I could do this. What's the name of the song? I know flashes of light. Things I never do again, but things that always seem right. What's that one? I forgot what that was, but that one's also a fucking banger. That one's a banger. But Milo has pushed his career to the point of no return because now he's on stage, he's obese, and he doesn't sing to the same capacity. I think 2007 was the last time that Meatloaf sang correctly or sang well, which is unfortunate. What's this fucking song that's gonna drive me nuts now? Meatloaf. And then also in the music videos, the best part is that he's always like, there's always hot chicks that are after him, and he's not a good-looking guy. He's never been a good-looking guy. He's always been a great singer apart from his recent stuff. But you have the hottest women going after him. What's the name of that fucking song? It's gonna drive me nuts. I know Celine Dion had the same one. It's all coming back to me now. Thank you. There you go. It's all coming back to me now. That's a song, and he sings that. And the woman in the video is just a dime, just so hot, and she's going after this morbidly obese man with a tremendous voice. Good morning, says Yuma playing cards. Good morning. I forgot it was morning. I forgot it was 10 in the morning, and I forgot that this is a stream that I literally named Saturdays, not Caturday, because I don't know if you know this, but being a professional virgin, you lose track of days. So sometimes somebody will tell me, "Oh, it's Sunday," and I go, "What happened Saturday? I forgot what happened yesterday. I didn't realize Saturday, and I'm already in the weekend." It's kind of a weird thing. It's all coming back to me now. Yeah. Let's see. Really good luck. Really good Rick Astley song from the 80s. He's also really good. Rick Astley's well beyond just a standard Rick roll, right? People only know him from that, but he has a tremendous fucking album of songs or discography. Go back here. Oh yeah. Professional here. Do you play Magic the Gathering? I do not play Magic the Gathering. I remember trying to play it once and hating it. I hated it. It's like a Pokemon, essentially, the trading card game from back in the day, somewhat, but a little bit more complicated. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of anything like that anymore, really. I feel like I grew out of that. I grew out of that, but I do magic tricks for a living, right? uh, Piggy, what do you hate about the behavior of human beings the most? I hate inconsiderate people. That's what I hate. I hate inconsiderate people, right? I'm a very considerate individual. I'll open a door for people. I'll run across the street, even if it's my right of way. I let people cross. I stop when I'm supposed to. I'm a very considerate individual when it comes to my action. I hate inconsiderate people that don't, you open a door and they don't thank you like it's your fucking job. And you go, "You're welcome." It's like, my job is not to open a door for you, right? And then it reinforces your notion not to do that the next time, you know? So it's kind of a circle of shit that you're dealing with, the shittery of being nice to people, not getting nice back. And then now you're like, fuck that. I'm not going to be nice to people. I'm not going to do that from now on. So yeah, I hate that. Have you gotten Xavier's deck yet? No, I have not gotten it yet. Looks good though. Looks cool. I mean, he's shown me behind the scenes all the cards and stuff, and good for him, for coming out with that. Makes me a little bit jealous in a sense of being able to do that, and I've been trying to. But that's also my fault as well. Meatloaf is a rare voice type called a Helden tenor. He could sing with shit technique in his youth, but he never got better and wrecked his voice. Okay, yeah. So I imagine that he's one of those guys that just went balls to the wall and then didn't have any sort of conditioning or training like What's the name of the singer for Disney? She did Mulan. She's so hot. Saranga, Leia Saranga or some shit, or Saronga or whatever her name is. That she's managed to have a career of singing, that her voice has literally only gotten better. Peabo Bryson is another one that they've sang pretty much their entire lives, and because they knew how to condition and train, and I imagine deal with their voice, they haven't they haven't fucking lost it. Whereas Meatloaf just went balls to the wall, said "fuck it, I'm gonna go scream in a microphone for 5 years," and it's gone. It's gone. Let's see. Xavier has a deck. Yeah, Xavier has a deck. I'm not sure who the artist is. I'm not sure who the artist is or what the specific details of it. I've only seen the deck. Leah Salonga. Yeah. God, she's such a perfect woman. Apart from her politics, but I mean, apart from that, she's a perfect woman. Let's see, Pig. Piggy's, your answer is exactly what I expected from you. Good to hear that. But yeah, I'm not sure about the artist of that per se, but I know it's a very minimal looking deck. It's not anything that's a lot of people now like the fucking busy, crazy designs. I think his deck is fairly minimal, fairly minimalistic, and it looks pretty good. It looks good. Can I impress the ladies with card tricks or cardistry? Serious question. Well, if you're impressing the ladies with card tricks or cardistry, then you're, I think, doing it wrong. You got to impress them with yourself, but definitely card tricks more than cardistry. If you try to impress a woman with cardistry, I don't know. I think you have to be. I think you have to be retarded. Because how do you do that? How do you impress a woman with cardistry? You start doing stuff, right? You start, hey, watch this. You know, maybe you might get one, like a kinky one in the crowd that goes, "Wow, you're really good with your fingers," but that's it. That's going to be the end of it. That's going to be the extent of it. It's not going to move on from there. It's not going to be any sort of like, "Oh, wow, dude, that's crazy." Yeah. So now we're gonna, we're gonna do some stuff. No, the extent is that she's just going to make that comment and you're never going to see her again. She's going to disappear and you're never going to be able to take advantage of that or do anything about it because she just said that comment at that time. She's not going to want to fuck you because she said you must be good with your fingers and because you're doing cardistry. Hello. So cardistry is definitely it's like juggling. Like jugglers don't get laid. Keyboardists don't get laid. Right? The guys that get laid are the guitarist, the lead singer, the keyboardist. You think Jim Pederick got more tail than Sullivan? What's his name? I'm trying to have a very specific reference to the leads to the guitarist and the pianist for Survivor, something that no other person would probably know. I forgot what his name is, something Sullivan, and the keyboardist was Jim Pederick. The guitarist got more pussy than the keyboardist. That's my point. Okay, God fucking damn it. Where'd you learn the rubber dub vanish? Is that a real question? But expert card technique is actually where I learned it. But I like the different variations on it. I like the different takes on it. Like this one is probably the best one. That thing, right? Is probably the best way to do it. I think I like it a lot because it looks like the card. Look at the angles that I have on this fucking shit, right? Like that one. I really like that one because it looks like the card's staying there. Obviously, it's the worst angle, but I like that one better than just this standard stuff where you're doing that. I'm not a fan of that as much as I am this thing. So that one, I like that sort of shit. So that's kind of a hot one, I would say. But expert card technique is where I learned it. I forgot who. I don't know whose version of that is that you do that one, right? It's essentially Marlowe's whatever Marlowe switch that is, right? Whatever Marlowe switch that is, but without a card, essentially, right? So that's all you're doing as you pretend to squeeze it. Fucking great, tremendous, definitely better because it's like a retention vanish, but with cards. It's kind of dope. Not to get too virginy. But the best one that does it, I remember the first tip and the best tip was from Devil's Picture Book with Darren Brown that he talks about. For example, you're putting the card, right? So pretend that this is the table. So right now you guys are seeing through the table, right? And I should have more of a better setup where I have another camera, like a top down, right? Considering this is a magic channel, maybe. But so this is the table. So you put the card on the table and you rub it, right? And you go, table's a little bit messy. Okay. And then you do this, right? So you do the rubber dub move on the second time. So now you're going to lift your hand from the table. So they think the card's in your palm. Then you put it back and you go, look, no, I'll bring it back. Wait, no, it's actually gone. So that way the disconnect from this moment happened 2 minutes ago, essentially. So you're not immediately doing this and then showing the card to be gone. You're putting the card supposedly in your hand. You're rubbing it. You're doing a little bit of a gag where you show them, look, the card's gone. And look, I'll bring it back. No, actually, look, I'll make it vanish. So you do it that way so that the disconnect from the moment you actually place the card on the table, it happened 30 seconds prior. So there's no connection between this action and the card being under your hand. And again, doing that little gag implies that there's a card under your hand. So little bits like that. But that I got from um, Darren Brown in Devil's Picture Book, which is a wonderful thing. I think he does it in like a 3 card routine or some shit like that, if I remember correctly. But that one's fun as shit. I think Daniel's Garcia Mint Box does the best vanish. Yeah, I think it's that same shit. I think it's that same one, based on that similar concept of making that Joker or something like that. I don't have it, but if I remember correctly, it might be that one. Especially since I have the third edition, says Stefan. The fact that move's still being used today, even 80 years later, is still something about that book. Yeah, it's fucking tremendous. I mean, there are some things there that are not good, as with anything, but there's still the basic sleights are fucking tremendous. And if they're old, you could still adapt them. I think since over a year ago, says Finnegan. Wow, since when do you show my face? Yeah, since about a year. Thank you. Good to have you. Good to have you around, man. It's great. Good to know. Good to know. Such a strong fan base I got. But yeah, it's been since December of 2019. I've shown my face right here. You've seen this right here. Like, is that what you thought it was gonna be, huh? Is this the face you thought I was gonna have out of a short Arab Latino? Right? Look at that. Yeah, try to get laid with that face. I learned a lot from you, G, but I've been out for a minute. No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. As a matter of fact, I mentioned this on that podcast yesterday. That I like it when you do this and you leave the channel because you're doing other stuff that's better, right, for your improvement than magic. So if you, for example, stop watching my videos because you're going to other magic videos, that's pretty fucking bad. But if you stop watching my videos and my channel and you move on to bigger and better things in your life, yes, that's what I wanted. I want to encourage that. I want to encourage you to do better things than look at magic videos. I encourage that. So if you were doing that, yes. But if you did that and you're looking at fucking, like, I don't know, like Pandrea or Assad's channel, like, my dude, I'm here. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. But if you're doing it and you got into, I don't know, like fuck, sewing, that's rad, right? That's better than magic. So that's what I like. But if you did that, I'll never leave. I've set up a couch and a kitchenette. A kitchenette. Jesus fuck. I haven't heard that word in a bit. Kitchenette. That's also a term that you see a lot when you're trying to find places to rent, especially down here. Oh, cozy, right? Cozy means small as fuck. Kitchenette means an oven, essentially. You got an oven. If anything, they'll just point at the microwave. And then the other one that I like is centrally located. Everywhere is centrally located. What does that mean? Right here, I'm centrally located to places, or near the airport is the other one. Near the airport, you're always near an airport. Essentially, if you're in a city, I guess you're going to be near an airport. I do magic with plastic cards. Should I switch to paper ones? I can do some of the move with plastic ones, but I need a suggestion from an expert. I don't think it matters. I've used plastic cards forever. Bin wangs, right? Same shit. It's just a matter of practice and making sure that you could do the moves correctly with the plastic cards. And I use bin wangs to prove a point that you could use terrible cards that are shit quality and still do the same things that you could do with other more expensive, unnecessarily expensive cards. I keep getting reminded as to the card market and how annoying the card market is. Whenever I go to fucking Daniel's and he's like, "Oh, let me pack these up because people are buying these cards," or "Oh shit, let me look," and you look on eBay and people are selling cards for a ridiculous amount of money. I didn't fucking realize this shit, but yeah, it's unnecessary. It's definitely unnecessary. So I do tricks on the videos with bin wax to show that you don't need good cards to do good tricks. You just need to be a good magician. So, jokes aside, I've had other projects. I've been training Moroccan camels. I believe that. I believe that. I feel like that's definitely cooler than magic. Training Moroccan camels. The fuck? What's the deal with the ring? Are you and Xavier Spade married? He has the same one. Yeah, a lot of magicians have this ring right here. It's called an M ring or a wizard ring, if you want to be a virgin about it. I bought mine in Magi Fest in 2017, I believe, um, from a very nice old woman. She never responded to my email, by the way, bitch. But a very nice old woman. And they sold, rings and all this stuff. And I've always had like a thinner version of this ring. If you look at my earlier videos, I had a thin version of this ring because it's the only one that I could find. And then finally, I had the ability to buy this one, and I bought it. But it's a magician ring. It's historically a ring that magicians wore. I forgot the actual history of it, but it looks cool. Okay, it looks cool. Masada ring, I've heard it called that. Um, I know because if you cut it by any one of its axes, it gives you an M for magician, I guess. But I think it looks cool, which is why I wear it. I'm a virgin about it. Don't know. But yeah, they're kind of nice, right? I get a lot of questions about it, going, "Hey, where'd you get your ring?" And then this is just an Ankh ring. Technically, I think this is a girl's ring. But look at the depth of field on that motherfucker. God damn, dude. Look at that. Look at you can't even see my face. Look at that quality. Don't tell me you don't get quality here. But yeah, so that's an Ankh because I'm a dirty Arab. Do you have any other hobbies beside card tricks and playing instruments? What are the other hobbies? I like reading shit from time to time. Um, what other hobbies could you have, right? Uh, mind you, I'm always telling people to do stuff outside of magic and be more than just a magician, right? So I don't know. Is drinking a hobby? I guess drinking could be considered a hobby. I like jogging, exercising, cigars. I like cigars. That's a fun one. You know what I actually got? Problems that I had in the growing up was I always wanted to do Frank caps. I've always wanted to do the caps, Fred caps is a smoking thumb, right? And this isn't any endorsement of that, but I've always been looking for the right thing because usually the trick to that one was it was a cigarette that you would hide inside of a wooden dowel, and he would take puffs and then hide it. And I've been looking forever. So if somebody could recommend, but I found this. This is like one of those vapes, right? But look how small that is. Look how small that vape is. So you could hide that in your hand and pretend to smoke your shit and do the smoking thumb trick with a vape like this. But I don't know if anybody maybe knows like a smaller one, right, to do that. But I've been looking for them forever, and I found this one at 7-Eleven yesterday, and it was $1. So this thing was $1. It's refillable, and it hides in your hand perfectly well. I want to paint it tan. This is really virginy, by the way, but this is what I get excited for. There's a light here that I want to cover, and I want to paint this tan color. So I want to paint this the same color as the thumb tip, so that if you kind of peek at it, you're not going to be able to see it because of the flesh tone. So this is what I'm thinking of doing. But this is $1. So I don't know if they sell them that are smaller than this because this is quite heavy. So if anybody has any recommendations, but I definitely, when I saw this, I'm like, oh shit, this is fucking great because just the size is perfect to palm. It's not too intrusive. It's definitely something that you could hide in your hand without calling too much attention to itself, and you could do the classic smoking thumb trick with it. You are vaping technically, but you're not inhaling it per se. I don't know if that matters or not, but it's perfect for it. So I've been looking for this forever. I've been looking for like smaller ones. The unfortunate thing is. I think the refills, but I'm sure you could probably refill this fairly easily. But yeah, I've always had that issue. One of my favorite magicians growing up is Finn John. Finn John, he's this wonderful guy. He's done a couple projects recently with loops. And fuck, if you ever want to learn how to, float shit and make it look great, Finn John is definitely one to study. His earlier work too, and he was big on loops and bubble stuff. And he's always done tricks where he puts smoke in the bubbles, and unfortunately, it was always with cigarettes and all that shit. So I've always wanted to find different alternatives. Now that I smoke cigars, I guess I don't give a shit. But I've always been looking for little things like this that you could hide that could produce smoke easily, that aren't bulky, like the fucking big battery boys. So this one's a great one. A jewel, if you want, are too long. They're too long, and you're not going to be able to palm that well. So these little ones are definitely great. So I don't know. This is just one that I just found recently, and I wanted to share my magic virginity with other people that would probably appreciate the virginity as well. Thoughts on Disney canceling Gina Carano? She's so hot. She's very attractive and a thick woman. It's dumb. It's dumb. But if I get into that, then people start writing comments on other people's channels as to why I should learn and understand media better. So if I can't no comment on that. No comment on that because I don't want to be reading comments later on other people's channels about my inability to understand media or understand my own failures in life. Okay, there you go. That's it. Uh Yeah, but she's I remember years ago there was always a gif of like a really attractive woman at a UFC show. And I never knew who it was, and it was Gina Carano. She's like doing a little wave, and I'm like, there's no way that's a fighter. There's no way that woman got punched in the face, and she did. My goodness, she's very fucking attractive. But yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. Let's see. What kind of books do you read? Well, I mentioned that earlier. My favorite one's Art of Astonishment, Expert Card Technique, things like that. So those are the ones that I read. But books in general, I can't mention the last book that I read for fear of being canceled. No, I'm not gonna do that. Zoom in bed again. But I like reading nonfiction shit. I don't like reading fiction books. Fiction books are fucking terrible. Like I don't want to live in a fantasy land, even though I do magic tricks for a living. I like nonfiction shit. So things that delve with real life issues. I guess historical things are good. I like certain autobiographies are kind of interesting to read. So things like that I enjoy reading, but I don't like fiction, like the fake shit. Like, oh, read this novel about this person that like no, not a fan of that. Do I speak any other language? Yeah, Spanish. Spanish. I was born for the first 10 years of my life I didn't know English. So I only knew Spanish. And then now it's the opposite. Now my Spanish sounds like a gringo. So who would have thunk it? So by all technicalities, it's hard not to learn Spanish when you're raised by dirty, disgusting Cubans. Should I do other types of magic like coins and rope? I love card tricks a lot. I have this feeling that I will not be able to do other types of tricks perfectly. You don't need to do them perfectly, that's for sure. But yeah, that's you should have a good rounded knowledge of everything to do with magic, not just card stuff, right? I think somebody the other day mentioned, oh, it's hard for them to transition from card to coin stuff because there's no overlap. But you're not just, I mean, it's good to know everything in magic because you could apply it to other things. So coin work could apply to mentalism. Card tricks could apply to coin work. Coin work could apply to card tricks. So everything is reciprocal. Coin tricks, rope tricks to some capacity. I don't know if they could necessarily apply to fucking card tricks. Maybe the effect. You could probably translate the effect somehow. But it's good to have a well-rounded interpretation of magic as opposed to just having knowledge of one thing. So that way you're just typecasting this little thing and you have no knowledge of anything else. Whereas if you knew, for example, some coin tricks, you could apply that knowledge to card tricks. You could apply the misdirection and the same principles. So it's good to know a lot of different things. Finding out I'm going to have to add stage shit to my arsenal is daunting. Yeah, that's the other one. You do, especially if you want to be hired, you are gonna have to do, stage shit at some point. Not just close-up stuff on stage, but stuff that applies to a big audience. But I mean, the easiest stuff with that is just some bits of mentalism per se. Rope shit is good if you're doing kid stuff, or if you're doing an audience that's like family-oriented. Rope stuff definitely plays big. Richard Sanders has a thing called I think fiber optics that he remade, I guess, like 5 or 6 years ago. That's some good shit. That's some good shit. Although not to be too virgin-y, but my favorite rope trick of all time, Swan Lake Rope by Jeff Sheridan. Not to sound too much like I would say a dehydrated version, but that's one of my favorite rope tricks. So if you get a chance to look it up on YouTube, look it up. Swan Lake Rope by Jeff Sheridan. Let's see. Because of you, I'm making a new stand-up show called Demon Magic. Great. Yeah, that's tremendous. And then you're gonna get comments if you put it on YouTube. You're gonna get comments every single day as to how you are the spawn of Satan and how I'm an idiot and I'm stupid. because I don't believe that demons are helping magicians do card tricks. I'm apparently blind because I'm not aware of the fact that demons are helping magicians do card tricks. I'm blind. Every day I get comments from fucking retards, from a lot of morons leaving comments in my videos about how, because I don't acknowledge the fact that demons are helping people like David Blaine and Dynamo do card tricks. Every day I get comments calling me a moron because of that. And then they'll show me a video of somebody doing card tricks and say, explain this, like double lift, pass, go fuck yourself. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But their ignorance is just palpable. I fucking hate it. The other one that I've gotten into arguments. That's the other one that It's my fault too because I get into arguments with these motherfuckers as to the necessity of these people to do tricks on TV that are fooling, that are going to be able to be scrutinized and watched over and over again because that's what people are going to do. So they have to have a crew of people that they hire, that they pay on a full-time basis to consult for them to make sure that whatever trick they put on TV looks good and is subject to repetition, is subject to be fooling not only to lay people but to magicians. But the assumption is, oh, you don't know how he did it, so it has to be demons. No, you fucking moron, you inbred fuck. That's not the way it works. If I find footprints outside my house, I'm not going to immediately assume that it's aliens because I don't know what fucking animal caused the footprints. That's not the way fucking logic works, you fucking idiot, or the real world works. But I get into arguments every day with these fucking morons. And it's back and forth. God damn. Literally, god damn. Let's see. When was the last time you went on a date with a woman asking for a friend? I keep that information secret. I don't talk about that with anyone to the chagrin of my cohorts. But that's so I'm not gonna mention that on stream, and I don't mention that to my own close personal friends as to my prowess with the ladies. Okay, and there is prowess. There is prowess, my friend. Don't think that it's empty. There is your boys got a game. I got game. Okay. Sorry, and hot sauce. What's your favorite cake? Ice cream cake. Not to sound like a child, but ice cream cake is the best. I don't typically like cake. Cake is, I think, overrated. And especially now that I'm trying not to be a fat ass as often as possible. But ice cream cake is definitely the one that I would partake in if I were to get on cake. I carry a voodoo Aikido doll just for jokes and accidentally drop it halfway during performance, so they actually think I use demons. It's hilarious. Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Until the one day you get challenged to the death to a magic duel from an actual like crazy shaman guy that's realized you've been doing card tricks, and he challenges you to the fucking death. Ice cream cake is a shit. Yeah, it's fucking tremendous. It's literally the best of both worlds. You get ice cream and you get cake. But it's just like I'm not a fan of like the layers of cream. So you have this like essentially a panetella, right, with fucking cream, and then no, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of cake. It's too fluffy. It's shit. Whereas ice cream cake, you got ice cream in that motherfucker, right? So why not? Why aren't you gonna like that? Did I get COVID? I'm sure. I'm sure at some point I probably got COVID, unknowingly, right? Mm. I'm not entirely convinced that at some point everybody, right? Or I'm entirely convinced that everybody at some point has probably gotten COVID. I remember my mom called me like in January of last year. She's like, "Oh, Papa, yeah, I've been sick for the past week. I haven't been feeling good. I feel terrible, And and I'm like, okay, all right. And then COVID comes along, like, oh, you probably had COVID. Great. So my mom, everyone in my mom's house had like a sickness for like a week or two, and then they got over it, which is fucking hysterical because my mom is like the unhealthiest person I know. So the fact that she got potential COVID and made it out, but she had all the symptoms, that's for sure. Say what's here to have the right position of the fingers. You guys are talking about that. Piggy, I have a complaint. I put the card seeds in my garden 10 days ago, but it doesn't appear to have any cards. I think that's God telling you to put the cards down. If he's not letting the seeds grow from your card seeds, that's him telling you, put the cards down. You don't need it. You've been playing with the cards too long. Piggy, UFC, Jan or Izzy? I'm not sure. The last one I was a little bit disappointed in because I fucking hate Usman. I hate him. I also hated Masvidal for a while until I got it. I understood it, and now I love him. Now he's my favorite. Not only because apparently I happen to share the same look according to Daniel as him, which is shitty hair and a shitty beard. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's gonna win that. But if that's tonight, I didn't even know that was tonight. Let me look at that up. UFC. UFC. Let's check this out. UFC. If it's 259, I imagine they're going to do something big for 260. 259. By the way, we're decreasing the virgin points from this by talking about something like UFC. We're decreasing the virgin points. 259. So 259 is in. Damn, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I mean, Israel's been fucking crazy, so I feel like he might do it. Here's the word. Yeah, that's why I don't care about what's going on tonight, because it's Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis. The last time I think they fought, they threw 10 punches in 20 minutes. Terrible. But I don't know. I feel like maybe Israel. I like Blaskowitz, but I feel like Israel's too good. I hate Israel, but he's too good, unfortunately. Not tonight. I fooled you with a rope cutting trick. Want to see it again? That reaction was priceless. I believe it. Yeah, I remember, I think. But I think once is enough per lifetime. Once is enough per lifetime. Usman. I fucking hate Usman. It was the first PigCake video I saw. I was so confused. Which one are you talking about? Let's see. Michael Lawrence, you're in reference to Marco Bain. Oh, the other video. Yeah. I was talking about that yesterday on this podcast, and I was mentioning as to the first video and the first idea that I had. And in my head, I'm like, oh, it's great. I'm going to grow cart seats. It's going to be so funny. And now looking back on the video, I want to delete my entire channel based on that. But I think that's the end of the stream. I think that's been a good one. We've gone here for an hour and a half. I think that's been a hot Saturday stream. I'm probably going to do this again next week. Maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. Who knows? But I'm glad that I could have a whole stream, not have any fucking internet issues, and keep at this. Look at this quality. Look at this quality here. Look at that. Let's see. Let's try to get that focus. Look at that quality, boys. Damn, son. That's what I'm talking about here. So we'll do one probably next week on Tuesday. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for sticking around, listening to this virgin ramble on a lot of things. I'm going to go, I don't know. I'm going to go fuck myself maybe. I think that's what I'm going to do. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this production value.